Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends. And yeah, guys, today I am back with the next part of What If Naruto Was Neglected by his family and had the powers of Injustice Superman. So, yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the previous part of this series. And if you guys have not seen it, please, guys, check it out. You guys will definitely like it. And yeah, guys, I have already have a manhwa recap channel. So, if you guys are interested in that, then the link is in the description below. So, please subscribe to that channel and watch the video as well. So yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. So please guys do so. And yeah guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that Naruto finally decided to take over Konoha as Minato was taken aback, but he decided to, you can say, take down Naruto along with the help of Kushina, Jiraiya and Tsunade as they decided to attack him and take down the clans that were supporting Naruto. But in the end of the day, Naruto easily defeated them, even the perfect Jinchurikis like Menma and Mito, who were trained by the age of 4 to the age of 16 to the point that they were able to use full power of the QB, were easily taken down by Naruto like it was nothing. And the shinobis that were still supporting Minato decided to attack the other shinobis, but in the end of the day, Naruto easily took care of them, but some of them were able to escape thanks to the help of Minato's heroism. But Naruto simply shook his head. They were not a threat to him. After all, he can take them down pretty easily. Afterward, a council meeting was made in which the daimyo did not support Naruto to be the leader of Konoha, but Naruto simply, you can say, got rid of him and became the new leader, permanent leader of the whole nation. Afterward, you can say Minato simply went to his hideout along with Jiraiya, Tsunade and Kushina, in which they decided that there is only one way to stop Naruto as he is too physically powerful. Even Tsunade's full power punch was blocked like it was nothing. So there was only one way to take him down. That would be to make a ultimate seal powerful enough to even seal off all the 9 bijus at the same time. So that was the plan of Jiraiya and Minato. So they decided to work on it. In the meantime, the news spread like wildfire across the elemental nation. This was the perfect opportunity for the major villages if Konoha was in the midst of a civil war, and if Minato was truly dethroned along with his supportive shinobi like, you can say, Kakashi and, you can say, Tsunade, Jiraiya, which means that Konoha at the moment was at its weakest. As Anoki wanted to attack Konoha, but he realized that he needs to observe a little. After all, this kid Naruto already had a reputation of being an S-rank shinobi. After all, his son had fought him and he was, you can say, barely able to escape with his life. So Onoki wanted to observe what actually was going on in Konoha. In the meantime, Raikage was laughing, thinking that Minato must have gotten rusty over the years and therefore he is no longer as fast as he used to be. So therefore he gathered all of his shinobi, making up to 10,000 shinobis along with both of his Jinchurikis, and arrived at the gate of Konoha to take over. But that was the biggest mistake of his life. All the 10,000 shinobis were easily destroyed. Only 2,000 shinobis were left behind who voluntarily surrendered. Afterward, Naruto simply grabbed Raikage and flew towards the direction of Kumo, and where he got rid of all the resistance that was there and easily killed off the Raikage. Afterward, he became the new leader of Kumo as well as the Land of Lightning, which he gave up after they realized that what kind of monster he actually was, and he was not able to be taken down by them. While on the other hand, the Akatsuki was pretty surprised when they have heard the news. Even the perfect Jinchurikis were taken down, which were actually a headache. So Pain decided that this was good for them. If a new shinobi war were to start, then they can take advantage of the situation to get the Jinchurikis. While in the meantime, Minato and Kushina, when they heard the news, they were pretty shocked to hear all of this and pretty angry at the same time, as they could not believe how many people died because of Naruto's greed. So they wanted to take him down as soon as possible, but before that, they have to get to the Kiri and give their support to the rebels so that they can take over the Kerry, and then make up their forces to take down Naruto as soon as possible. In the meantime, they were working on their perfect sale. So yeah guys, that was the last part of the series. So if you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. You guys will definitely like it. So I'm gonna start my story with Naruto, who was flying in the air looking down towards his, you can say, people and shinobi who are training hard for the days to come. After all, the council has decided as Naruto would easily be able to take over the whole elemental nations if he so desire. But the problem was that how his own people were not at the moment powerful enough. He still needed an army to keep everything in check. Otherwise, some random people always will try to attack him or something like that. So this was perfect. After all, he was already recognized as the daimyo of the Fire Nation as well as the daimyo of the Lightning Country. So this was a perfect situation for him as Naruto closes his eyes. After all, it will be only the matter of time that he will be able to take over the whole elemental nations. As he let out a sigh of relief. After all, peace has to be achieved and people like Minato will not be able to do it as Naruto had already figured it out years ago. As he simply shook his head while on the other hand in the stone village as the scroll was returned from the leader of Kiri, Yagura, as the Tsuchikage looked towards the scroll with a small frown on his face. He honestly never understood Yagura. After all, his village was second, if not first, to be containing so many bloodlines, but this kid came out of nowhere and wanted to get rid of all of them. These were the, you can say, speculations and the demands of Kiri to join forces to attack the rebels in one go and take them out as soon as possible. As you can say, Tsuchikage simply shook his head. Those bloodline users could have been great use, but this kid will not agree to it and he simply cannot, you can say, gain the support of rebels. After all, there were not that many in number, around 1,000, while on the other hand, Yagura had over 10,000 shinobis under his command. So, if he wants to take down Naruto, then he would need more shinobis and more forces. As he simply shook his head, it was a pity that he was unable to find the location of Minato, even though he was his most hated enemy. But at the moment, they had a common enemy, so he would have joined forces reluctantly for the moment to take down Naruto. This kid, as he simply shook his head, and then there was another scroll as he opened it with a frown on his face. It seemed that you can say, the request he has sent for the assassination of the Hokage to the Akatsuki was denied. As he simply shook his head, this Akatsuki had several excellent shinobis. He already knew about it. He had even used their forces for his own advantage, but they have rejected the offer. It seemed that they were even scared of this Naruto kid. As he simply shook his head, this was not the time as he looked towards the council and giving them the scroll. As after some time, they finally decided that they will be helping Yagura instead of the rebels. Many of the, you can say, bloodline users were not happy about it, but decided not to argue. After all, they were, you can say, in Stone Village, not in Kiri, so they didn't have any love for the bloodline users in Kiri. While on the other hand, Minato, as well as his forces, has finally arrived to Kiri and they were able to find the location of the rebels. At the moment, Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Itachi, and you can say Menma and Mito were finally arrived in the camp of the rebels. As you can say, Meiterumi, along with her many special shinobi were present there. As Meiterumi looked towards Minato Namikaze, the news has already spread and she was able to get the news as well, though she didn't care much about it, but she was surprised to find that how Minato has sent a scroll to her for the, you can say, support they will give to them. So she was a bit intrigued as Meiterumi looked towards Minato Namikaze as he said, well, Lord Hokage, well, you're not Hokage anymore, so maybe I should call you Minato-san. I'm pretty happy to see you here. As Minato simply nodded at that. Well, you already know why I am here, so we should start the dialogues as soon as possible. As Meiterumi simply nodded, giving him a small signal towards a camp where all the members of her small council were present. As they finally arrived in it, as Meiterumi looked towards the forces that were with them, quite a intimidating figures that were behind Minato, but she quickly shook her head. What kind of monster the new leader of Hokage of Konoha could actually be that all of these powerful shinobis were taken down that easily and overthrown away from Konoha. As she quickly shook her head, she has to think about it carefully. After all, she already knows the reason behind people like Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina, and two perfect Jinchurikis coming here. That could only mean that they must have take over Kiri and attack Konoha. She simply cannot afford that at the moment, but she still needed the help of Minato. After all, there are some news that are coming from the spies on the side of Yagura that he's making some deal with the Tsuchikage, and if the forces from Stone Village were to arrive here, then the things would get even more uglier for their side. So she has to accept the help of people like these. As she looked towards Minato, as I said, well, Mason, you already know the reason why we are here. We are happy to help the bloodline users here. In return, when the Kiri finally stabilize, we want the forces so that we can take down the new leader of Konoha. He's a threat. You already know he has taken over the Lightning Village, and soon enough he will come for Kiri as well. So we should join forces with the other villages to take him down as soon as possible. As May frowned at that, that was clearly a threat. As she quickly shook her head. And what about the other villages? From the news we are getting, the Yagura has already made some deal with Tsuchikage, and he will try to attack our camp soon enough. As Minato frowned at that, he was hoping that Stone will join the alliance to take down Naruto as well, but he quickly shook his head. After all, Tsuchikage hated him, so there was no way that he will be able to make an alliance with him. As he quickly shook his head, don't worry, I still have some reputation. When they will see me, they will run away. So you do not have anything to worry about. The Tsuchikage will not help us, but I still have good relationship with the Kazekage and the many leaders of the small villages, so we should be able to make up a force powerful enough to take him down. And do not worry, I am already working on a special jutsu and some seals to take down Naruto, so all you have to do is to subdue the forces of Konoha, while on the other hand, we will take down Naruto. At this, you can say Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina, and Menmal Mito simply nodded at that as Metorumi let out a sigh of relief. Even though this Naruto kid is powerful, but in front of the Seal Masters like Minato and Jiraiya, he will be taken down sooner or later. So she quickly looked towards Minato. Alright, I'm gonna help you, but before that, we have to take over Kiri. As Minato simply nodded at that, while on the other hand, far away, in an underground base, 10 figures could be seen in a blurry form, as these were none other than the meeting of the Akatsuki. As Pain spoke up, it seemed that the situation in the Elemental Nation is not looking good, and it seemed that the Hokage has already taken 2 tails and 8 tails Jinchuriki, and we do not know the location of it. This is a bit troublesome, as one of the, you can say, members, that was none other than Kisame, spoke up. After all, he was hoping to fight the second most powerful Biju. Well, it seemed that the Hokage has taken it down. As Pain quickly shook his head, it seemed that we are in a bit of a pickle. We have to get the other Jinchurikis. It seemed that Hokage also wants to get the Jinchurikis. We simply cannot allow it. And we have to take the Jinchurikis. As he looked towards Sasori and Deidara, both of you went towards the, you can say, the village of sand and get the one-tailed Jinchuriki out of there as soon as possible, and do not make a commotion. Try to get him as sneakily as possible. I want to keep our organization away from the eyes of the leaders at the moment, so if you are able to get it sneakily, then do so. At this, they simply nodded at that as he looked towards Kakuzu and, you can say, Hidan. Well, both of you rush towards the village of Taki and get the 7-tailed Jinchuriki. We have to get these Jinchurikis as soon as possible, since these villages are not powerful enough to stop us at the moment. As for the Stone Village, we will get them sooner or later. It seems that they will be sent towards the direction of Kiri, so we should be able to get them. As they simply nodded at that. At that, after all, the ambition of the Akatsuki simply cannot be stopped no matter who is there. As afterward, the shinobis were released, while on the other hand, Naruto was looking towards the shinobis that were gathered in front of him. It seemed that their power has increased, which impressed Naruto a little bit, but at the moment, they need even more powerful shinobis. After all, they still lack strength shinobis, and Naruto wanted that. After all, sooner or later, the Elemental Nation will come together, even though Naruto is powerful enough to take them out by himself, but he has hope that the other people will try to, you can say, stop him or try to distract him. So he wanted his forces to be powerful enough to, you can say, simply take over, even if when he's not here. As Naruto simply nodded at that as he looked towards 100 shinobis that were present there. Alright, our mission today is to get towards the direction of Taki and get the Seven-tailed Jinchuriki and make Taki submit. As the simply nodded at that as Naruto simply, you can say, rushed towards along with his shinobi towards the direction of Taki, not knowing that also Kakuzu and Hidan are already present in Taki, while inside of the Taki village, the leader of the village was slammed into a wall brutally as his head was already leaking blood. He could not understand how these people were able to enter into the village. After all, their village was well hidden, but when he realized that one of the people were none other than Kakuzu, one of the missing names from Taki, he quickly realized that how they were able to come to the village. Not only that, this guy was an S-rank shinobi and had forbidden techniques under his command, so he simply cannot stop him. After all, he was not cage level himself, Jonin level maybe, but cage level definitely not. As he gritted his teeth, as he saw that his Jinchuriki Fu was trying to attack the Kakuzu and Hidan. This guy was also dangerous, but she was being overpowered pretty easily, and once again, Fu was slammed into several trees and boulders as she gritted her teeth as she stood up. She could not understand why these people were so powerful. She has even, you can say, attacked them too with the skills and jutsus to kill them directly, but none of them were taken down, and she was getting out of chakra. Sooner or later, she has to unleash the full power of the Biju, but she's unable to control the full form. That was the problem here. As she stood up, blood was leaking from her mouth as she gritted her teeth. Alright, you have asked for it. As she closes her eyes and started to pump chakra, and just like that, Four Tails has appeared behind her. This was the limit. She was able to use the power of her Biju, and she let out a roar and rushed towards both Kakuzu and Hidan, who were smirking. As Kakuzu spoke up, it seemed that Taki has gotten weaker over the years. Even their Jinchuriki is not exactly a match for us. As Hidan laughed, as he already had made a circle as Four-tailed Jinchuriki was coming towards him, but he quickly stabbed himself as Fu stopped in the midst as she let out a scream of pure pain and agony, and her Four-tails cloak disappeared as Hidan was laughing as he said, "Well, that was easy. It seemed that this is over, Kakuzu." While on the other hand, Kakuzu was silent as he looked into the sky. One figure was looking towards them. "You're right, Missing Nin. This is over." This was none other than Naruto, who was flying in the air looking down towards them as Kakuzu took a step back as he already knew who this guy was, and that was a bit troublesome. Even though he was considered to be immortal, but he had no doubt in his mind that if he were to fight people like Minato, Jiraiya, or even Tsunade, he would be in for a hard time, and this guy has taken all of them down in a single battle. This was troublesome as he looked towards Hidan. "Hidan, get the Jinchuriki. We have to leave now." As Hidan was a bit surprised, he was about to say something, but suddenly you can say, beam of energy slammed into the body of Hidan, sending him flying away. As Naruto finally landed, suddenly the shinobis of Konoha has finally arrived to take over this village and get the Jinchuriki, while on the other hand, the leader of Taki was pretty shocked to see this guy. After all, at one time, they were allies, but when these guys took over Konoha, their alliance was over. He had even gotten the scroll from the, you can say, Stone Village for the alliance, but he has yet to decide on the matter. After all, Stone Village has attacked Taki on multiple occasions to get their Jinchuriki for themselves, but they were barely able to defend themselves at that time. As you can say, he looked towards this guy. He already knew why he was here and what he will do after he will take down these people. He had no doubt in his mind. Even Kakuzu was no match for this monster. While on the other hand, Naruto finally landed in front of Kakuzu with a bored expression on his face as Hidan finally came out. Hey you! As how dare you attack me sneakily? I will cut you down and sacrifice you to Lord But before he could complete his sentence, suddenly a beam of, you can say, I beam slammed into his face. And just like that, his whole head was blown off. As Naruto simply looked away from, you can say, Hidan, he was just a weakling. He could already tell his only ability was massive regeneration, but he didn't care much about it. He doubted that he will be coming back from that one. Some traces of magic were also there, but he simply shrugged it off. While on the other hand, he looked towards Kakuzu, who was taken aback. After all, he already knew Hidan was immortal, but his immortality was not that great, and he already knew this was one of the weaknesses of Hidan, and now he was unable to move without his head. As he quickly shook his head, he has to get the hell out of here. He didn't care about the mission of the Akatsuki. If he is able to escape alive, then he will come up with something for his life. But at the moment, he has to leave. As he quickly jumped away, ready to disappear, but Naruto appeared in front of him, grabbing him by the neck. You know, I already know who you are, Kakuzu, one of the richest men on the planet at the moment. You have killed off many shinobis and gotten their bounty. So why are you running away? You have yet to greet me. At this, Kakuzu greeted his state. Suddenly, one of the masks appear from his bag and release lightning towards Naruto as Naruto looked towards Kakuzu with a bored expression on his face. The lightning hit Naruto scared on as a, you can say, explosion of dust appeared as Kakuzu was hoping that he would be able to escape or get this guy off guard, but to his surprise, he was still in the grasp of Naruto as Naruto was now choking him. And when the dust finally settled down, not even a scratch was on Naruto's body as Naruto looked towards Kakuzu with a bored expression on his face. You know, I was just talking, but you just have to attack me. Well, such bad manners. But then again, you are 100-year-old, so your manners are not up to date. Don't worry. I will teach you myself. After saying that, Naruto flew into the air at such hypersonic speeds that he was in the outer layer of the planet within seconds as Kakuzu was taken aback. He could not breathe at this point. Even though he was considered to be immortal, he still had to breathe. And just like that, he was outside of the planet as Naruto rushed towards the sun. You know, I always love the sun. Maybe you'll like it as well. After saying that, Naruto threw Kakuzu in the direction of the sun, and in front of his eyes, Kakuzu let out a scream. Well, at least he tried to. Anyways, he was burned down into nothingness as Naruto simply shook his head and flew back towards the direction of the Taki village. As he arrived there, shinobis of Turkey were still pretty angry about the whole situation. They were scared, confused, but they were still angry as they wanted to attack someone to, you can say, at least put up a fight. Well, that was not a very good idea as Naruto finally arrived in front of them with a towering figure flying in the air as the leader of Turkey stood up. The leader of Konoha, why are you here? And what is the meaning of this? We are still allies with Konoha. You have to give us an explanation. He already knew that this was fatal, but he had already given some signal to his shinobis to get Fu out of here. He will not hand over Fu to the leader of Konoha. He was not a good person and he did not want it Fu to die. So his shinobis were already on their way to, you can say, take Fu away from this place. But Naruto had already noticed them as he looked towards Chibi with an amused expression on his face. Do you honestly believe that? I do not know what you're trying to do. As the leader of Turkey was taken aback, it seemed that this guy has already noticed it. As Naruto simply shook his head, suddenly 3 shinobis who were grabbing Fu has finally arrived. These were none other than Konoha shinobis, as these people has already noticed that the Take shinobis were trying to take away the Jinchuriki, but this whole place was surrounded by Konoha shinobi, so there was no way that they would be able to escape. Naruto simply shook his head. It doesn't matter. Now the Jinchuriki is under our command, and this place is also if anyone dare to resist. After saying that, Naruto's body, you can say, started to emit power. His whole body was engulfed with yellow energy. This was one of the modes that he was able to discover. Too near to the sun, he's able to awake it. as Naruto looked towards and the heat, the power that was being radiated from Naruto's body was more than enough to put all the shinobis, even Konoha shinobis, on their knees, as they were pretty shocked to see this kind of power. As Naruto simply looked towards them, well, you already know what will happen, don't you? As the leader of Taki quickly realized that he has little hope to win this battle, as he quickly get to his knees and submitted, as Naruto simply nodded at that, as he decided to leave some shinobis here powerful enough to take them down if anything were to happen. And finally, Taki was under their command, and the seven-tailed Jinchuriki was also there. And finally, Naruto returned victorious, and now Taki was under their command. In the meantime, Naruto has already sent many of his shinobis to the minor villages that were none other than the Grass Village and such, and they were easily taking over all of these small nations. And at the moment, they have to conquer the Rain Village to enter into the land of stone. And Naruto himself will take care of it. After all, he could scan the whole planet if he so desired, and he could tell that there were several powerful shinobis, especially the legends like Hanzo the Salamander was considered to be alive at this point, and Naruto was a bit intrigued about that guy. Finally, they have arrived in Konoha. In the meantime, in the base of the Akatsuki, the Black Zetsu has arrived, giving the, you can say, information that as Black Zetsu appeared in front of Obito and Pain and many of the members of the Akatsuki that were present there, as Pain looked towards Black Zetsu. Zetsu, what's the information? Have Kakazu and Hidan got the Jinchuriki? As Kakazu speak up, it seemed that they met a mountain on the way. As some of the Akatsuki members were confused, as Pain narrowed his eyes. As Black Zetsu started to explain, it seemed that they met the new leader of Konoha and the Lightning Village. At this, everyone was surprised to hear that, and I am sad to inform that both Kakuzu and Hidan are no more. As you can say, Kisame burst into laughter. Well, it seemed that the immortals were the first one to be off by this guy, as he started to laugh afterward, while on the other hand, Pain gave him a look as he finally decided to be silent, as Pain said, and what of the Jinchuriki? As you can say, Black Zetsu speak up. It seemed that the new leader of Konoha has Jinchuriki under his command, as Pain greeted his state. This was troublesome. He was hoping to get these Jinchurikis as soon as possible, but this guy was on in their way. It seemed that he himself has to handle this. After all, he was a god. He had the Rinnegan. So no matter how powerful this new leader of Konoha actually was, he was no way comparable to him, as Pain smirked at that inwardly. While on the other hand, Obito was wondering what to do about the situation. This guy already had 3 Jinchurikis under his command, and this guy was really powerful. Even he himself was unable to go to Konoha. At one point, he was able to arrive in Konoha to get the location, but he had felt that someone was seeing him, and afterward he quickly disappeared, and he saw that the Hokage arriving to the place where he was momentarily before, and which surprised and shocked him at the same time. The Hokage had, you can say, put out all the white Zetsus that were present in Konoha like it was nothing. And this guy somehow was able to sense White Zetsu, Black Zetsu, as well as even Obito, who has just arrived to the place, which means that it was troublesome. As while on the other hand, Black Zetsu was also nervous about it. After all, he was like a part of the whole planet, and this guy was able to sense him like he was an anomaly. As he quickly shook his head, while on the other hand, Pain said, what of the one-tailed Jinchuriki? As you can say, Black Zetsu speak up. It seemed that we are unable to locate the one-tailed Jinchuriki. Rasa, the fourth Kazekage, has made him somewhere away, and we are unable to get his location at the moment, as Pain greeted his state at that. We have to get the Jinchurikis no matter what. Soon enough, we will get them, as Black Zetsu speak up. That would have to wait. It seemed that Hokage has his eyes set on all the small villages he has already attacked. Taki, Grass, and many small villages, and soon enough, he will also arrive for the Rain Village as well. As Pain eyes narrowed, even Conan was angry about it. Let him come, we will take him down. This is a perfect opportunity for all of us. As I look towards Akatsuki, he will come here with some of his shinobi, thinking that this was just a small village and we will attack him. together and we will take him down. I refuse to believe that all of us together we will not be able to take him down. As all the members of the Akatsuki simply nodded at that as he gave a order. Bring Sasori and Deidara back. They will be needed here when the Hokage arrives and we will all together take him down. As they simply nodded at that, while on the other hand, the Tsuchikage looked towards 2000 shinobis he has gathered. These people will go to the Mist Village to attack the rebels and take them all out. While on the other hand, he has already given orders to some of his Jonis to get some members of the Bloodline users so that they can breed them once again in this time in Stone Village. After all, the leader of the Mist Village was a fool. Yagura was not, you can say, considered to be a true leader if he's weakening his own village. So he didn't care much about it. Those people will be, you can say, their life would be ended, but their legacy will continue in the Stone Village. As he smirked at that, while on the other hand, Minato was ready to attack Yagura along with the forces that they had prepared, but it seemed that Yagura has already prepared his forces to attack them. Well, they will be meeting at center as Minato looked towards the shinobis that were behind him, 300 shinobis that were training day and night to become stronger, to take back their home which was taken from them. As Minato smiled at that, this was a will of fire, and soon enough he will return back to the position of the Hokage. He was confident that once Naruto is out, the other clan heads will realize that they were mistaken and they will have to make some sacrifices, but Minato will forgive them as he has already made up his mind. While on the other hand, finally Yagura looked towards his shinobis. 2000 shinobis from Stone Village has already arrived as he looked towards them with some, you can say, disdain in his eyes. But thankfully Tsuchikage has not sent any bloodline user, so he was happy about it. As he looked towards his shinobi, today is the day he will get rid of all the bloodline users. While on the other hand, Obito was unaware of all of this. After all, he has just put up the, you can say, whole hating the bloodline users and paranoia thing. He was not completely in control of Yagura. After all, controlling a perfect Jinchuriki for such a long time was even tiring for him. So some, you can say, small genjutsu, some paranoia genjutsus were enough for him, for Yagura to do the bidding of Obito. So that was done. He was not in full control of Yagura at the moment. As Yagura simply smirked at that, today is the day they will get rid of the, you can say, the bloodline users. As a smirk, alright, as they rush towards the location of the rebels, they have already found the location with some of their, you can say, well-trained shinobis without any filthy bloodlines in them as they finally arrived. But they were surprised to see that the rebels were already prepared, and it seemed that it was like a stage. As Meiterumi stepped forward, as Yagura was a bit surprised. This was the leader of, you can say, the rebels, as he looked towards her. Well, Meiterumi, you have finally decided to show your face, huh? Well, it doesn't matter. Today's the day you and all of your bloodline users, filthy bloodline users, will disappear from the face of the planet. And my people are ready to take out people like you. At this, the shinobis on Yagura's side cheered at that as Mei smirked at that, even though her forces were no more than 2000 people. But she was confident of winning today. As she said, oh really now? It seemed that you have brought up some help, Yagura, but it doesn't matter. After all, I have already brought up my own brand of help. After saying that, she snapped her finger, and just like that, you can say, a flash, 4 shinobis appeared, and these were none other than Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kushina. As you can say, Yagura was taken aback when he realized that this guy was Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, Jiraiya of the Sannin, Tsunade of the Sannin, and Red Heart Habir and Kushina Uzumaki. At this, you can say, Yagura gritted his teeth. It seemed that these people have decided to join forces with those filthy bloodline users. As he was about to say something, but suddenly 2, you can say, glowing figures appeared in the sky, and these were none other than Menma and Mito in their perfect KCM2 form. They landed in front of Yagura. They have already mastered the Sage mode in this time, so they were in the form of Sage mode, and you can say KCM2 as they looked towards Yagura, as Yagura realized that these were the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, as well as, you can say, The perfect Jinchurikis at that, as he gritted his teeth, anger was in his veins at the moment. He was, you can say, one of the three astronaut shinobis that were present there, while on the other side, there were people like Minato, the perfect Jinchurikis. Even if he were to transform into three tails, he doubted that he would be a match for two nine tails Jinchuriki. Even half of nine tails was more than powerful than all the bijus combined. He was in a pickle, while on the other hand, the 2000 shinobis from the side of Stone Village were taken aback. They were unable to find the location of Minato Namikaze even though they hated the guy. But the orders were orders from the Tsuchikage, but it seemed that he was here. Many of the stone shinobis were getting nervous as well as the side of Yagura shinobi. As Yagura looked towards him, it doesn't matter, today I will bury all of you here. As he was about to say something else, but the leader of the stone village finally, you can say, stood up. Minato Namikaze, we do not have to fight at this point. As Minato was taken aback, after all, he was already embracing himself from the curses that would definitely be coming from the side of the stone village, that how they will avenge all the people he has killed. But he was taken aback at this, you can say, leader. This was the son of the Tsuchikage who spoke up. My father, the Tsuchikage, was already hoping to make an alliance with you. After all, he already know about your situation, even though we are hated enemies. But we have decided to put our grudges behind. After all, your son, Naruto Namikaze, is a threat to the elemental nations. So, my father, the Tsuchikage, has decided to make an alliance with you. We were unable to find you. That was the reason we had decided to make an alliance with Yagura, even though we already know that he has lost his mind. And we did not expect it rebels to win anyway. So that was the only reason we did not make an alliance with them. As Minato was a bit surprised, but he also realized that this was the perfect opportunity. If the Stone Village is willing to make an alliance, then he would happily do so. After all, more the merrier, and there would be more shinobis that would be needed to take down Naruto and his allies. As Minato simply smirked at that, it seemed that the Stone Village also realized his greatness, that how they will be unable to defeat him, and Naruto is a threat. That was a good thing for him. As Minato, as well as Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kushina smirk at that, while on the other hand, Yagura speak up, "You traitors, how dare you!" At this, the Stone Village shinobi jump away from the shinobis of the, you can say, Mist Village, as you can say, while on the other hand, Mist Village shinobis were getting nervous at this point. After all, two perfect Jinchurikis. At this, Meiterumi quickly realized the situation and stepped forward. After all, this was a perfect opportunity. My brothers and sisters, for years from the formation of the hidden Mist Village, we have lived together. The first Mizukage has offered all the bloodline users a home in this village, and we have all come together living for decades in this place. But this mad guy, when he came here, he decided on his own that we are evil and all that, and look where he has brought us. Our village is considered to be the weakest among the five. All because of this guy. Are you really gonna sacrifice your life for a madman who will definitely not stop here? He will even attack the other villages for, you can say, having bloodlines and all that. At this, you can say, the shinobis of, you can say, Yagura side started to think about it. After all, honestly, they never had any, you can say, hate for the whole bloodlines, but this was the order of their leader, so they had to follow it, otherwise considered to be traitors. While on the other hand, Yagura looked towards his shinobis who were now taking side of the rebels. He quickly lost it. As he lost it, you, all of you, die. After saying that, three tails appeared behind him as he rushed towards Meiterumi. No matter what, even if he were to die today, he will take out these traitors and these filthy bloodline users. As he let out a roar and rushed towards Meiterumi, but before he could reach it, chains quickly appeared, grabbing him. As this was none other than Kushina, as Minato appeared in front of the Yagura and put a seal on his head, and just like that, the power of the three tails disappeared as Jiraiya quickly slammed another seal onto him. As a child was already present there, which you can say Meiterumi has prepared. This was a highly trained shinobi which they have trained with one of the bloodlines of the, you can say, Terumi clan, as suddenly Jiraiya put a seal to the, you can say, stomach of Yagura, whose eyes quickly were snapped open. The biju was extracted and put into the 8-year-old child. As you can say, made Rumi smirk at that. It seemed that their Biju was not lost to them and their leader was taken down, while on the other hand, the shinobis on the side of the mist village were taken aback. Their leader was taken out just like that. It was nothing, as they quickly threw away their weapons and joined the forces and acknowledged Metrumi as their new leader. As May smiled at that. Finally, it was over. Honestly, she never expected things to end just like that. She had already told Minato to not kill off too many shinobis. After all, they still needed shinobi to rebuild their village, but it seemed that not even a single shinobi died. Well, other than Yagura, of course. So, finally, Yagura was dead as mate Romi decided to take her place as the new leader of the Hidden Mist village, while on the other hand, the son of the Tsuchikage has already sent a message to the Tsuchikage about the development of the whole thing. After all, he has still have to need to have talks with Minato, but of course his father would do that officially. While on the other hand, in the Stole village, Tsuchikage had just gotten the message. As he opened the scroll and started to read it, he was a bit surprised when he started to read the content. After all, his son has written that how Minato Namikaze was there. When he read that, his blood ran cold. He was just hoping that not so many of his people would die there and some of them would be able to escape, especially his son. But when he started to read, he quickly realized that how Yagura had completely lost it and how he was taken out and how you can say, the people of, you can say, the shinobis of Nis has already surrendered to Meitorumin and now she was the new leader as Tsuchikage thought it for some time. Well, honestly, this was one of the good results even though this has not weakened the Mist village, but it was needed at the moment when this new leader of Konoha would be taken down. Then he will think about what to do about the Mist on a later date. So he simply nodded at that as he started to write up a message to Minato that how they needed a meeting about the whole situation. It seemed that it is time for all the hidden villages to come together and take care of the threat that was none other than Naruto Namakase. While in the meantime, in the Sand Village, Rasa has already hit Gaara. After all, he had already made up with his son for years and now he was training him personally to control his sand and his sand demon. And now this whole situation has appeared. He already knew the new leader of Konoha was gathering you can say, be Jews, and he did not wanted his son to be away. So at the moment, he has already hid him, while he was hoping that the situation would be taken care of. Since Minato and Jiraiya were still alive, he has just gotten the scroll from the Stone Village about an alliance, and he was thinking on it. It seemed that the shinobi world has to come together to take out this threat as soon as possible, while on the other hand Naruto looked towards his shinobis. 200 shinobis were gathered together to take over many of the small nations and now these people were ready to attack the final small village. This was none other than the village hidden in the rains. Afterward, they will rush towards the place of the stone village to take it out as well. As Naruto simply smiled at that. This was perfect. His plans were going perfectly. He has already taken over all the small villages and now all of them has seen his power personally. So he doubted that they will try to do anything even if people like Minato and Jiraiya were to approach them. The legend of him fighting all of them once and defeated all of them at the same time has already spread, so he doubted that these people would be foolish enough to join hands with his so-called father. As Naruto simply shook his head, it is time. As he and his shinobi finally rushed toward the direction of the Rain Village. At the same time, Pain has gathered all of his shinobis as well as the member of the Akatsuki. As he looked towards them, it seemed that the Hokage has dared to attack our village. Soon enough, he will come here. But we, all of us, we are ready. We will show him the might of the Rain Village and the might of the Akatsuki. We will not allow him to attack our village just like that and take it over. As all of them simply nodded at that as Pain eyes glowed. Soon enough, he will show him the might of his Rinnegan, that how he is powerful than him. Many of his techniques are powerful enough to take down Naruto. Well, he hoped so. Anyways, as he quickly was ready, once he has taken down the Hokage, they have to rush toward the direction of Konoha, as Black Zetsu and many of the White Zetsu are already present there to take the Jinchurikis. After all, they were ready for anything as Pain smirked at that. It was time for him to show the world the might of the Akatsuki, that how they are not to be underestimated. Once they do this, their existence would be exposed to the shinobi world and they will be considered a threat. But he didn't care at this point. He will protect the dream of Yahiko and he will protect the Akatsuki and the Rain village. But hey guys, here I'm gonna left this part. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, the like goal is 200 likes, 80 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So yeah guys, see you soon. Peace.